Hey, you guys. Okay, so I want to share a prophetic dream with you guys that God gave me. And this one he called early release. Okay, so y'all bear with me because I'm trying to get over something. so, in this dream, I am walking. I'm walking on a path and I'm just focused. I'm completely focused. I don't see anybody on the left or the right of me. I am focused and I'm on a mission, right? And during this process, while I'm walking, I'm so focused to where a friend of mine has to flag me down. He's like, hey, girl, whatever, and you don't get my attention. And so I stop and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you or whatever, right? And so when I stop to talk to him, he has an object in his hand that I'm very much so familiar with. This object belongs to me, and he hands it to me. And once he hands it to me, he moves to the side, and I see that my baby is out. I have another daughter in a dream, and she's out early from daycare. And I'm like, what is she doing out? It's not time for her to be out yet. And y'all, I'm looking at my daughter, and she's the size of a newborn. She's the size of a newborn baby, but she's sitting up and playing with toys, right? She's sitting up and she's playing with toys. And so I'm like, in my dreams, I can hear people's thoughts and feelings a lot. And I already have a knowing that I know she's out early. She took herself out early because she didn't want to be there no more. And I have a knowing that she ain't going back. She is not going back to that daycare. I'm like, so I'm not even about to fight with her. But so she was out early, right? And so I picked her up and I began to nurse her or whatever. I had more stuff to do, but she was going to have to come with me and I was going to have to do it with her in my arms because she wasn't going back. All right, so that was the dream. Okay, so God gave me this message with this dream and he combined it with some things I was dealing with in the natural. Okay, so y'all, the past couple weeks have not been easy in a transitional period. And God, how do I want to say this? Okay, so basically for me, I knew where God wanted me to be. I knew the position he wanted me to be in. And you know the saying, where the Lord guides, he provides, right? And so I kept waiting for the provision. I kept waiting for the provision because I knew the position he wanted me to be in. I was where he wanted me to be, and I was trying to remain where he wanted me to be until he told me to be somewhere else. And so what I kept praying, waiting for the provision. But what kept coming to mind was some things that were in my possession that I could have sold to keep me where God wanted me to be. These were things that I said I would never give up. I said I would never give these things up because I held them they were very dear to me. They are very dear to me, right? But these are the things that kept coming to mind. I was waiting for God to provide. But these things kept coming to mind. I could always sell this so I could stay in the position that God wanted me to be in, even though I said I never would, right? And then God brought this dream back to mind. So y'all, the object in the dream, remember I told you I was focused, I was walking, and then a friend flagged me down and he handed me an object. The object he handed me was the object that I knew I could sell, that I could get rid of in order to have what I needed to stay in the position that God required me to be in, the position that he wanted me to be in, right? And I knew that. And so, well, he showed me that. He reminded me of the dream. So once he reminded me of the dream, after the thought came to mind so many times, I knew it. I just already knew that's what I was supposed to do, that was the sacrifice that I needed to make in order for me to stay in a position that God wanted me to be in, right? And so I finally did it. And I told God, I'm all in. I don't care if I have to lose everything. I'm all in. I don't care if I have to give up this or give up that. I'm all in. I want to be wherever you want me to be. I will give it all I got. I'm all in. And I just have to trust that you're going to show up, right? And so I went ahead and sold that item or whatever. And mind you, it was only going to keep me in a position that I knew God wanted me to be in for a little while, right? But after I did it, God stretched that thing. He stretched that thing. Oh my God, he stretched it. And then not only did he stretch the time frame, not only did he stretch, Lord have mercy, I got more than what I bargained for. Let me just say that. And I start receiving his favor. Like, oh my God, things were just looking up left and right. They were looking up left and right. Yeah, I cried when I had to give up the item though, because it was dear to my heart. But when I tell you, oh, I felt so much joy from God. I felt so much joy from him, and he began to favor me like crazy. And that's when he started giving me the message that favor ain't fair. And he reminded me, and for the dream, he gave me the title Early Release. I was reluctant to share this dream at first because I didn't want to discourage anybody. But what we have to understand is we're all in different seasons, but at the same time, part of this dream that he showed me, some of us are expecting multiples, right? In our birthing season, some people are giving birth to multiples. When he said early release, for me, and a lot of people this is for, you may be giving birth to multiples. You already have so much coming in. It's going to be like an overpour on you. But because of the sacrifice that you made, God wants you to know that he saw you. He saw the sacrifice you made. He saw that you gave up your last because you believed in him, because you gave up your last just to stay in the position that you believed he wanted you to be in. He saw that. He saw that. And because of that, he said early release. He said early release. And like I said, I felt like these people too, God brought out multiples, that you're giving birth to multiples. And you will see some of them sooner than later. You might get some of them all on top of each other just because of that sacrifice you made. And yes, God will provide it. We're Lord guides, he does provide. But it almost felt like a test for me. And the moment that I gave up that object, the moment that I did that and I was willing to do that, right? The moment I did that, he did his part and he stretched that thing. He stretched that thing, right? So I just wanted to encourage whoever this was for. Okay, God said you'll be experiencing an early release, okay? An early release. And in some ways it felt like a test of the heart. It felt like a test of the heart. I'm sorry, y'all, my throat is bothering me a little bit, but it felt like a test of the heart. And he also brought up the story of Abraham and how, Abraham and his wife waited for years for that promised child. They waited for years, and then they finally have their child, and then God asked for him back. He asked for the child back. But you have to remember the promises that God gave Abraham were massive. Father Abraham had many sons, right? He was the father of the nations. He made Abraham the promise that he will be the father of a great nation, and that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. He needed to know that he had Abraham's heart. He needed to know that Abraham treasured him more than he did that child, more than he did that promise, right? And you know what? Oh my God, gave me so much peace. When I was giving up the item that I said I would never give up in order to stay in a position I know God wanted me to be in, while I was doing it, God made sure I saw better, a replacement for that item, an upgraded version of that item. He made sure that it was put in my path. And then he kept reminding me, I told you I want to give you all things new. I told you I want to give you all things new. Y'all, I'm more of a sentimental person, but you know what? A lot of us have hearts like that. And God, that's why he wants to bless us so heavily. So he wants to give us all things new. All things new, y'all. I kid you not. And he just made sure that I saw that information. And then he also showed me that he's going to replace that item for me with something better, way better. So I don't know what you gave up, what you sacrificed to stay in position with God, to stay where you knew he wanted you to be. But he wants you to know that he saw that sacrifice. And because of that, you will experience an early release, an early release of the promises. And I feel like for a lot of these are people who are having multiples. And like I said before, I was hesitant about releasing this because I didn't want anybody to experience any confusion from this dream or any type of envy or whatever. Because we all, children of God, will be experiencing the promises of God, but some will be having multiples. Some will be experiencing multiples. But the thing is, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know how long their wilderness season has been. You don't know how long their suffering has been, right? Lord have mercy. It's different for everybody. Abraham had to wait a long time for that promise, right? It's different for everybody. You don't know what they've been through. So, but anyways, I just want to release this to encourage you. You did not give it up in vain. God saw you when you gave it up. He saw what you did to stay in position with him, and he's going to honor it, and he's going to bless it. And he said, because of it, you will experience an early release. You will experience an early release. Oh, okay. Before I forget, y'all, because I was about to forget. Okay, remember I said the baby was a newborn age, right? So the baby was of a newborn age, and she was sitting up. She was sitting up. There's no way she should have been sitting up at a newborn age. You know, you got to support their head and all that stuff. The point was, she was moving fast. She looked like she was the age of a baby that just came fresh out the womb, and she was sitting up playing with toys. She was moving fast. You're going to have an early release. It's going to happen fast. That's why I really felt it in my spirit when God was speaking to me about this, about multiples, because he brought up multiples. It's going to be multiple things on top of, it's going to be one thing after another, and it's going to happen fast, and you're going to get it sooner than expected because of your sacrifice. Because of your sacrifice. All right. It wasn't in vain. God saw it. He saw it. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. I hope this encouraged someone. But yeah, for those who this is for, you'll experience an early release, and it's going to be moving fast. It's going to happen fast. It might be one thing after the next. You may be so blessed you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. All right, y'all. All right. Well, y'all be blessed.